really, the exterior is kind of growing on me. I don't know, it's because I like the interior so much.
I know.
That the exterior's like, okay, yeah, it's not so bad. Thanks for joining us today. It is time for the family review of this truck. I mean, would you call it a truck?
Maybe.
Well, I mean, it's got the size of an SUV and space of an SUV, but it has a 4-foot bed on the back. So maybe we should call it an SUT, a special utility truck?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay. So, Felicia, do you have any fun facts about this Santa Cruz?
I think I do. So the Santa Cruz has a lot of cool little Easter eggs on it. But I'm going to show you what I think is the most important one. And it's right here in the taillight. You'll see inscribed right here, it says, designed in California. And what that tells me is this was designed in the United States instead of the usual design being done in Korea. So this is a truck for Americans by Americans.
As far as I'm concerned, that makes this an American truck, but does it have American truck power? Felicia, fire the facts.
This Santa Cruz is the limited trim and comes with a 2.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder motor. So it produces 281 horsepower and 300 pound-feet of torque. Hyundai threw in an 8-speed wet dual clutch transmission with paddle shifters and the H-Track all-wheel drive system. All of that works together to go from 0 to 60 in 6 seconds and give you a fuel economy of 19 miles per gallon in the city and 27 on the highway for a combined average of 22 miles per gallon. It can also tow up to 5,000 pounds, which is actually 1,000 pounds more than one of its competitors, the Ford Maverick.
You know, when we talk about the exterior styling of things, you know, it's pretty much subjective as to what you like and what you don't like. But one thing that it reminds me of is a gas version of the Rivian. The design of it, except definitely has a better front end.
I would agree. My opinion on the exterior of this truck is that it's very utilitarian. So I'm going to say it marks high as far as usefulness, but maybe a little bit low as far as looks. A little low on the cool scale, but great for practicality.
So let's talk a little bit about the trim levels. So you have the base SE, and then the next one you have is the SEL. Gives you just a few little extra things. They have a new one now called the Night trim level. And with that one, you get some black accents, you get a few things that just make it a little sportier. And then you have the XRT, which is the more off-roadish type of Santa Cruz. Then the last one is this limited trim right here that gives you all the niceties. Now, before I head to the inside,
I'm ready to go, but what I want to do is have you guys stop and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any other of our family videos.
hey Felicia, while you're in there, why don't you tell us a little bit about the inside?
Yeah, sure. Let me talk about the design a little bit. So first off, when I got in here, what I really loved was the way that the door blends seamlessly into the dash. See that line there, how it just blends in really well? I also noticed that, as always, Hyundai did a great job of designing this for the driver. So everything is just right, nice, and angled where you would want it to be. I do have a little bit of problem with some of the materials in here. So we have these haptic feedback buttons here, and there's piano black all around it. You can already see there's just dust sticking to the screen. These are going to have fingerprints all over them. And I don't know how this will hold up as far as just over time pressing on the buttons over and over and over. So I'm a little unsure about that. But I do hope that we see some upgrades in the materials. I feel like they're a little bit cheapened, sort of. They do attract a lot of dust and debris. We haven't had this very long, and the dash really got pretty dusty. And then the carpet just sticks everything to it. And so I'm not real sure how this is going to hold up as far as that goes. I do think that the glove compartment is really awesome. It's big. We even have all of this driver material in here, but we still have lots of storage in there. We've got a little cubby here with a wireless phone charger, which is really nice. The cup holders are a pretty good design. I like the way the shifter is just sticking with the standard shifter. I think that's a good thing. Again, these are laid out great for the driver and the passenger, really. And we've got the pop open storage here in the middle, which is also a pretty good size. Moving on to the doors on the front, before I go on to the back doors, again, I like the mix of materials here, but I feel like it could be a little bit better quality. So I do hope to see that get a little better. And the door pocket is fairly small. So hopefully we can do a little bit better designing with that. So let's go have a look at the back. So first of all, as you can see, I think these doors are sort of thin. You can just see how thin it is here. There's no storage on the back doors at all, but we do have the cup holder. I like that the cup holder is here. The only problem is there's not the fold down armrest in the back where the cup holder normally would be. And I feel like that's because there's a little bit of a lack of space back there. The other thing I want to point out as far as family friendliness goes is the opening of this door. First of all, it's pretty small in general, and then it's not opening up all the way. So if you have older kids, that's fine. They can't be too big though, because there's not a whole lot of legroom back here. However, if you have little ones with a car seat, especially a toddler seat, I think it's going to be really hard to get that in and out with the small space that we have here. Now, one of the cool things that I do like is that there's storage under the back seat. Now, I did see a video from someone where you can put this jack underneath the back seat so that you have this whole compartment open and that jack isn't taking up so much room. So I do like that this is under here. It's pretty deep. And I think that that will be really helpful given the smaller size of the cab. And really, I think you could fit 3 people back here, but I think 2 would probably be the most you would want to have back here. You know, it's awesome that this can close and keep all your stuff locked in tight like an SUV, but I love that you don't have the limit of the top. So you still have that capability to have that open and go as high as you want on the storage. So I love the utility of that. The other tailgate trick that I saw was yet another level for the tailgate to sit at. So you just take the wire here and hook it over there. Now you're looking at this level. So we've got all the way open, level with the wheel wells, level here, and then closed. Hey, before we get going, why don't you tell me how safe my family is going to be in here?
Okay. So for safety, there is a whole host of sensors and all radars and stuff that they use around the car. Everybody knows that. That's kind of pretty much standard in most vehicles now. But what this one has, it has the blind spot monitoring, which is really handy.
Yeah, when you turn your turn signal too, it shows you your blind spot on the driver display.
So Hyundai's blind spot monitoring actually uses cameras on the outsides, and it projects it on your screen where your instrument panel is. So when you're driving, you don't have to look at your mirror if you don't want to. You turn your turn signal on, it's going to show you the whole length of your car and the lane next to you. It's a pretty awesome feature. The other thing that I was going to talk about was the lane keep assist. So it keeps you from veering out of your lane. So you don't have to worry about that danger of your kids yelling and, you know, you reach back here to give one of them a
Pretty
smack.
sure it's the #1 cause of car accidents, the children.
But you don't have to worry about veering off of your lane. The other thing is it has lane centering. So it keeps you dead center on your lane. And this thing really does keep you centered. It's really good. But the best thing about it is the HDA system.
HDA.
The Hyundai Driver Assist.
Okay.
That's hands-free driving.
Yes. It's one of my favorite things.
So what is cool and what's different between the Ford Blue Cruise and the Chevy Super Cruise is, I don't know about you, but I haven't been able to find an eye tracker in this thing anywhere. So
no.
yeah. So I don't have anything yelling at me, watch the road, watch the road, watch the road, or put your hands on the wheel.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And it just goes. And the craziest thing that you found out that it did was you don't even have to have the cruise control on.
Nope.
You can be driving your gas pedal and turn it on,
Yep.
and it'll drive itself, and you can just sit back. And it does it on the highway, the interstate. And I think it was even doing it for you driving through town, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was an accident. I had it on. There's a little steering wheel that comes up on the screen, and I tapped the brake because I came into town and I didn't need the cruise on, and there were going to be multiple stop signs and stuff. So I put my hands on the wheel and, was just using the gas and brake. But then I realized it was still driving itself. So I took my hands off the wheel. And I came up to stop signs and then kept going. I went around some curves and everything, and it drove itself the whole time.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I've never seen any system like that. Now, it wasn't lighting up the HDA system during that period of time, but the lane centering was just driving, and it wasn't saying put your hands on the wheel. That's what's crazy about it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we're talking about safety here for your family. I think all of us in this generation are going to want to keep our hands on the wheel. It's just going to be instinct to do that. And I don't think eye monitors are a bad thing. I think the idea of them is good. But when we drove some of the Fords, it was like I would take a drink out of my larger cup and that would be enough to block it and send it beeping at me.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing. It's not so much that we want to take our eyes off the road, obviously, but it was just a little bit too sensitive.
Yeah. So there's one last thing that I found out, and this actually has a safe exit assist.
Okay.
Yeah, so it uses
I think I know about that. What is it?
It uses the same camera for your blind spot monitoring to check to make sure that it's okay for you to open your door and there's not a car or something coming. So if you do and there is a car coming, it will alert you so that you don't open your door.
I wonder, so that would work the same for the back door. So if you're parked on a busy street, your kids are old enough to get themselves out, it's going to beep for them as well.
Right. Now, it's not going to keep the door shut, not allow them to open it.
Yeah.
So if they ignore the beep, then that's not, but it's there to warn you.
Yeah.
If you're worried about that, put your child locks on your doors, and then you don't have to worry about that.
Well, sure. Yeah. Okay, so I want to talk about how you're feeling with driving, as far as the accessibility of everything. What do you think?
This is great. Hyundai always does a good job with this. So all the buttons on the steering wheel are very easy to figure out how to use. So that's great. The instrument panel in front of me, or driver's display as some people call it, it is clear, it's bright, it's digital, it has everything that I need to know about. You get over here to the infotainment screen, all the buttons, I can reach them easily. You got a touch screen, which the infotainment screen actually works really well. Climate controls all down below, and everything down here is great. Shifter, all my buttons, I can get to everything just simple and easily.
And I think too that all the tech is clear. It's clear, it's concise, not as far as how it looks, but how it's labeled and the way it's laid out. The order everything is in is awesome. I really think that Hyundai is one of my favorites as far as that goes.
Yeah, it is.
All right, so why don't you also tell us about like motor options?
Oh, yeah. So I was surprised to find out that there are actually 2 motor options that you can choose.
Oh, okay.
So if you're on a little bit of a budget and you decide that you want one of these, you can actually get the SE or the SEL trim that has the 2.5 liter, and that'll give you 191 horsepower.
Okay.
And it gives you a little bit better gas mileage. I think it's around 23 or 24 average.
Oh, all right.
So then you go to the Night, the XRT, and this limited trim. And this one, they use that same 2.5 engine and add a turbo to it. Then you're getting 281 horsepower and about 310 pound-feet of torque, which is a huge amount just by adding a turbo.
Yeah.
You know, you're paying a little extra for those higher trim levels, but you're getting more power. So you have options. If you don't need that amount of power for towing and stuff like that, you can save a little bit of money and get one of the lower trims, or you can get up and get you a big 5,000 pound towing machine.
All right. That's cool.
0 to 60 on this one with the turbo is 6 seconds.
That's amazing, actually.
Yeah.
Because most like SUVs anyway, which is what I'm more familiar with since I, mostly work with our families on this channel.
Right.
Is like 7 seconds and up, around 7 seconds.
Right. Most of them have been.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I also think that the ride is really nice. I think if you have the sleeping baby in the back, they're going to be fine. It's not stiff. I wouldn't say it's as luxurious as a car.
Right.
But not. Yeah. What do you think?
I like the feel and I like the ride. And one thing that I noticed was when you're hitting the sharp impacts, it gives you that feel of a truck. You get that little.
Yeah.
But when you hit the bigger bumps, you get the softness of like an SUV.
So it's a good mix.
It is
I think.
really good mix.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it helps. I really have grown to like this a lot more than I thought I would, just based on,
Yeah.
I don't really love the overall look of it. But once you're inside, I think it's amazing. And I think it's a really great go-between a truck and a car and an SUV. It's a really good middle-of-the-line kind of crossbreed.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it is. And I've just been pleasantly surprised with it. And really, the exterior is kind of growing on me. I don't know. It's because I like the interior so much.
I know.
That the exterior is like, okay, yeah, it's not so bad.
All right. So before we do a wallet check, why don't you let us know how we're doing here? Comment below. Tell us if we've given you all the information you need to make a purchasing decision on this. Let us know what you like to see in the future.
All right, so for our wallet check, how is this going to affect our wallet on a monthly basis with gas prices the way they are?
Yeah, I hate it when people don't take that into consideration because it can really make the difference between whether or not you can afford a vehicle.
Right.
If it's got great gas mileage and you drive a lot, you're going to save a lot of money.
Right.
So this one, as far as efficiency, the limited trim with the 2.5 liter turbo engine gets about 22 miles per gallon, like we said. And so the average person drives about 12,000 miles a year, and I'd say that's very accurate, especially for where we live. And you're looking at about $4 a gallon for gas right now. So that's about $2,182 a year, or about $182 a month for gas.
Oh, okay. So
it's not
somebody's got a
awesome.
$500 payment.
Yeah.
And you add another $182 a month just for gas. Now you're paying almost $700 to drive that car every month.
Yeah.
That can get pretty tight, I would think, with some people.
Yeah. Now, if you get the SE or SEL trim, with just the 2.5 liter, no turbo, you're going to get a little bit better gas mileage, 23. Now, I do think that for the Hyundais, they kind of lowball the mileage. I think you can actually pull a little bit better than that, but at about 23 miles a gallon, with the cost of gas at about $4, it's going to cost you about $2,087 a year. So it's going to save you about $100. So that's like about $173 or so a month on gas.
Okay, so maybe $10 difference between that and the turbo.
Yeah.
But
I
then
would just get the turbo.
Right, but then you are going higher in trim levels to get that turbo, so you're going to spend more money for the truck.
Yeah, your payment's going to be higher.
So your payment's going to be higher if you want the turbo. So you just have to figure out what you want. But it's not too bad. It's not too bad. I've seen worse monthly gas prices, so that's not too bad.
Yeah. So what are we thinking about, like, total cost on this? What are we looking at?
Yeah, since because the price of the vehicles do make that difference with your efficiency and stuff like that. So what we're looking at here is the base SE is going to start out at $26,650.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's really not too bad. I mean, to be able to get a truck for under $30,000, that's pretty impressive. But if you want the limited trim like this one, you're going to be starting out at about $41,070. And their tester right here with the options and the destination fee added onto it, we're looking at around $42,615.
That's a huge dip. So you just told me that the base SE starts at 26, and now our tester has jumped up to over 42.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a really big difference.
There are some other things that you can make it just each one of them a little bit cheaper, because on all trim levels, you have the option of rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so, like anything, there's going to be different little things you can do to add money or take away money.
Right. So, you got probably a $3,000 to $4,000 difference between all-wheel drive or two-wheel drive.
Yeah. So it just depends on where you live and what your needs are, what your family needs.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
For me, park, play, or stay away. I'm sort of undecided. Like, I think I wouldn't completely leave it. I wouldn't completely stay away from it. I wouldn't get it if I had 2 or 3 children. Definitely wouldn't get it if I had car seats to deal with.
You're right.
It would be fun for play. I don't know, about like all of the off-roading capabilities. We can check into that. We can look at your review for that.
It does have Hyundai's H-Track, their all-wheel drive system, so it should be able to go off-road.
So I think for play, that's great. Would I park it in my garage? I just don't think I would. And I really think that a lot of that has to do with the outside styling and the quality of materials on the inside. For the price and the way it sort of got so dirty inside this week, it was just like a magnet for dust and debris and pet hair. We didn't even have the pet in here, and if you have the hair on you, it sticks to the carpet. So I would say no, I wouldn't park it in my garage. But what do you think?
I don't think that I would park it in my garage either. Just because...
I mean, that's good because it's also my garage, and I don't want to park
it's the same garage. So, I don't think that I would, just because the styling is a little there. I mean, just what people... Some people like it, some people don't. It's just your choice. I think this has a higher age demographic than a lower age demographic.
Yes.
It could fit in the lower demographic and the upper age demographic, but the middle ground, where
the family ground,
most of those people are probably looking more for full-size trucks and full-size SUVs and stuff like that. So you hit the upper age limit, the lower age limit, that's going to fit those people perfectly, especially in bigger cities. So would I play in it? Actually, I would. I think it would be fun to take it out and see what it can do on on an off-road course or something like that. And because I like the interior and I like being in here and I'm comfortable in here, I think it would be fun to have something to play with.
Okay, fair enough.
But I wouldn't completely stay away from it. I think I think it's a great machine. I think it can do a lot of things really well. It's not its fault that it doesn't look like
not its fault. But Hyundai does such a great job designing for the driver, and that's what really matters, right?
Right.
And so I do want to give them a shout out for that.
Yes, we do love the Hyundai vehicles so far that we have driven, and so I think they're doing a great job with their cars so far.
All right.
Oh, hey, did you guys know that the 2023 Hyundai Santa Cruz Limited family review is over?
Yeah, but don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next one.